Hotkey Books presents We Do Not Welcome Our 10-Year-Old Overlord. Written by Garth Nix and read by Thomas Larkin. To the memory of my brother, Jonathan Nix. 1966-2023. A creative genius in many fields, and one of the best and kindest people I have ever known. This book is set in an alternate version of Canberra, Australia, in a 1975 that did not exist. I have taken liberties with everything, particularly geography, history, the natural environment, and the release date of Dungeons & Dragons supplements. While this story is not set in the actual Canberra, it is inspired by the real place, and I acknowledge the Ngunnawal people as traditional custodians of that land, and pay my respects to elders past, present, and emerging. Though none of the characters are based on real people, and the family situations and everything else are all completely invented for a better story, this book is dedicated to the players of the D&D campaign I ran from roughly 1976 to 1981. Grant Flitton, Altmore, and Peter Howe, Floodriff, who both sadly left this plane of existence far too early. John Chemka, Borkum Skandanovich, and Phil Greaves, Philip de Cheveux. Chapter 1. Without warning, the sun went out. Only for a fraction of a second, but it was definitely gone. Or so claimed the one scientist who had been paying attention. It was 1975, and the computers monitoring the few solar telescopes that were watching were not very advanced, so it was presumed to be a programming glitch or something like that. All the other scientists said she was wrong. But the scientist wasn't wrong. In that split second, the sun had disappeared and come back again. And the world had changed, even if no one knew it. Reality had rippled and bent, and there was suddenly something new on the earth that had not been there before. A small globe, golden and shining, appeared in the shallows of an artificial lake. For a few moments it lit up the water, until it rolled around and coated itself in mud, and the light was dimmed. It continued to roll on into a patch of weed that wrapped around it, fronds trailing up like hair from a severed head. It was a 12-minute ride down to that lake from Kim Basalt's home. An easy coast, even on his heavy old bicycle, and a breeze on Benny Chance's new 10-speed. Their younger siblings, Eila and Medea, took longer, always following but never catching up. Kim, whose full name was Chimera Xanthoparmelia Basalt, was 12 years old, as was his best friend, Benny, whose full name was Benjamina Romella Chance. Their younger sisters were only 10 years old, Alethea and Agophora Basalt, and Medea Sophotella Chance. They had known each other all their lives, but each pair became friends in preschool because, for that time, they had unusual names. The quartet rode down to the lake almost every evening. After dinner for Kim and Eila, because their parents insisted on eating together early, and before dinner for Benny and Medea, whose meals were generally late and unpredictable. First, Kim would ride down from the experimental farm on the mountain, a hill, really, where his family lived, to Benny's house, which was on the highest street of the suburb below the mountain, with Eila trailing behind. Benny would be ready and ride out straight away, with Medea yelling out to Eila to wait for her as she put her shoes on or looked for her hairband or whatever. The night the globe appeared was like any other night for the kids, at first. Once they got to the lake, Kim and Benny put their bikes down by the boat ramp and sat on the park bench by the pebble-strewn foreshore to chat and skip stones, while Eila and Medea lounged on the roundabout in the playground behind, idly pushing it with their feet while they talked. The two groups were far enough apart that neither group could hear what
Sample complete. Ready to continue?